What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Hope Shot. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Yeah, it's we haven't been a minute. Feel like I haven't seen you guys or been on here for a minute. We had our little rerun last week for Easter. We spent time with our family. Much needed break from all the coming on the live show every Sunday, especially when it falls on Easter. And then we went straight to April Fool's joke. We had to go to Atlanta. But it was a great time. We went to this conference. It's the RX Summit in Atlanta. It was a great time. We learned a lot of new things. Caesar heard his word in a clinical setting, so now he's very satisfied, and I feel like he can actually has the meaning of life now. So there's that. But I'm gonna let him read the clarity statement real quick. If you guys would share this live feed, man, we appreciate y'all, and let us know you're here. Say what's up. Hey, Caesar.
Hey there, Justin. This is the Hope Shot clarity statement. We here at the Hope Shot are a group of people in recovery spreading inspiration. We come from all different walks of life and pathways of recovery. Our verbiage may be different at times, but we all have one thing in common. Recovery is a lifestyle. We support all pathways of recovery. It doesn't matter how you get from A to Z, just get there. And thank you for being a part of our Hope Shot family.
Thank you, Caesar. Hey, what was that word what was that word? I don't know what that was. I can't remember.
It was one of the delivery methods of a drug, and I just can't seem to bring it into mind.
Just dying.
Hold on. I don't have to say it.
Boof.
To hear a highly professional person in an auditorium with hundreds of people speak of boofing, the child in me giggled. I can't help
it. I mean, how can you not giggle a little bit, right?
I'm just not as mature as everyone else in that room that didn't even flinch.
They didn't get it. They just didn't get it. Man, so tonight, we're gonna talk about, hold on, before I get there, let's say what's up to some people, because I see them in the comments. What's up, Steve? Good to see you, buddy. We got Rachel Keegan in the house. Happy Sunday to you too. Hope you and Russell are doing well. And there's the man, the myth, the legend right now.
What up, bro? Oh, I know he's getting taken care of.
Hope slaps for everyone. We got Amber. What's up, Amber? Good to see you.
Hi, Amber.
Let's see. And that's it for now. So if you guys just jumping on, say what's up. Let us know you're here. So tonight we're gonna, we read these daily spiritual messages and all that, and it's something like really registered with me. I just got back from first. I went, okay, here's the whole week in review. Here's the week. We went to Atlanta from all of us. It was the whole Hope Shot crew, minus Rachel and Shannon. But we were all in Atlanta. We went to the RX Summit. We went to conferences. We listened to speakers about what's going on in these counties, in these cities, in these states, other than here in Florida. We are listening to what they're doing to curb the overdose, the epidemic, all these things, and the systems and processes that they're doing. And it was really informative. It's like some things that like triggered some ideas that maybe we could be doing better here and where we are in Pasco, And so a lot of ideas that we were pondering on, and how we can be better, how we can better suit and serve our community. And man, it was a lot of rock stars up there, I'll tell you right now. And it was cool. It was really cool. It was very informative. And then so Thursday we came back and boom, Thursday, right? Thursday we came back, and then the next day I left Friday morning. And I went to a little men's sponsorship family retreat, and to get some men time and take a break from the monotony of life, and just connect with a sponsorship family. But when I was so there was a reading, man, that talked about buffet style spirituality. And I'm like, man, that just resonates with me, because that's exactly what I've done, you know, in these last I don't know, this last year. You know, I've really put down those walls, because I mean, these walls that we put up also go into our spirituality, not just people and relationships and all that, but our relationship with a higher power, what we're getting our spirituality from, where we're getting our recovery from, how many, like the stigma that goes around, like people in like fellowships, or like or in just any sector that's not ours, right? Sometimes we can get stuck on, yeah, it's not right if it ain't just this way, you know, and that's not the truth, man. As soon as we could get open minded to the facts that, man, I can get a little bit from everything. I can, and as soon as I open my mind to those possibilities, man, I'll tell you right now, that's when real growth happens. And so it may be, and I feel like there's a lot of people that get stuck on those guidelines, that like, if it doesn't sound or look like, or if it's in this pretty little box that I think it's supposed to be, it's not right. And that's discernment too, of like, maybe it is, you know, and maybe it does align if it's just a different language, or maybe it's the delivery, or maybe it's in a church, or maybe it's in a an AA meeting or an NA meeting, or maybe it's in CR, maybe it's here, maybe it's there. But if we're open to the facts and we're in this place and we can get it from there, man, I'm telling you, it will open your mind to new possibilities. And you know, I used to, when I was even sharing about it, like church, man, I couldn't go to church. You know, I cringed at certain words, you know, and my wife goes to church, so I couldn't go with her. You know what I mean? So it's like, I had to not get over, I had to process the stuff, right? I had to process, why do I feel this way when this happens, right? Why does that make me cringe at certain words or certain language, right? Because I don't know, man. I had to work through it though, and I did, and I worked through it, and now, man, I can go to church, I can go to freaking AA meetings, I can go and just respect the house, right? We got to respect the house. So we're going to talk a little bit about the buffet style spirituality concept and recovery. So I'm gonna, you know what, Caesar, man, what's going on with you? What you got on this, man? Buffet, Jimmy Buffet.
So it's kind of like we talked about contempt prior to investigation before. It's my own preconceived notions of something get in the way of me possibly learning all the time, you know, and that's, you know, we're talking about spirituality, but it's everything. It's spirituality. It's our recovery. We read this statement at the beginning of the show talking about we accept all pathways of recovery. It doesn't matter how you get from A to Z, just get there. Well, I can learn from all pathways of recovery. And that's the buffet style principle, is that I can pick and choose. I can look at it, and there may be parts of this recovery program or this style of spirituality that I don't like, but I can leave those and take the things that will help me out, as opposed to saying, I don't want anything to do with that. I mean, that's the 12-step fellowships. Oh man, I don't want to know anything about that one because I'm in this one. Why? What's it going to hurt me to learn something or see something from somebody else's perspective other than my own? If my perspective was so great, like I wouldn't have needed all the damn help that I've had, you know, up to this point, you know, and that was from the very beginning. I come into this thing and I don't know anything about recovery, but I've finally gotten to a point where I've gotten my ass kicked enough that I'm willing to ask for help and not dictate what that help looks like. And I need to apply that same state that I was in to every kind of like learning opportunity, because I was unwilling. I went to meetings, I don't know, for 15 years or so, court ordered at one point or another. And I was 100% sure that spirituality and those 12 steps on the wall had absolutely nothing to do with my problem. We're not going to work and we're not going to solve anything. And I wasn't even going to try. And then I stick around long enough that I finally asked for help. and do the very things that I was so positive weren't going to work for me, and they worked. And that breaks down that first barrier of maybe I don't know so much, maybe I'm not that, I'm closed-minded by nature. I think I know everything, but I've got evidence that shows me that I do not know everything, and I have to apply that to everything for the rest of my life. It's one of the principles. I have to have an open mind. I can't be closed off to new possibilities, new ways of learning, new styles of recovery. And I can't turn my back to other forms of spirituality, because then I'm putting my higher power in a box. And I don't want my higher power in a box. I want my higher power to be big enough and awesome enough to handle anything, anywhere, anytime. And the more I learn about other religions, other forms of spirituality, the more my understanding grows and the more my higher power grows. So I love that concept. I mean, as soon as you said that, I was like, oh man, we can apply that to recovery. We can apply that to spirituality. You can apply it to anything, Wake up in the morning, get into gratitude, ask to not have a closed mind throughout the day and see what you can learn. I mean, Nathan's a good example. He'll read a book from, I don't want to steal your share, but you'll read a Buddhist book, a Christian book, of this book, of that book, and you get something out of all of it. And that's the same thing as me. I don't have to like every aspect of it to get something out of it. I just have to be willing to listen to what is being offered in that. Because at a base, all the religions and all the spirituality of man can't just inherently all be evil. There's some good driving force behind it. There's core principles behind it that can feed my soul and help me to get another day in recovery and can help me to be a better person. So I don't know. I don't want to stay in everlasting ignorance. I want to have an open mind, and I want to be able to hear somebody else's point. I mean, that's the point of growing and understanding. I want to seek to understand more than I want to be understood. I want to be able to connect and relate to somebody, at that ground level when they're hurting, so I can be able to help them. And if I've got these barriers up where I'm like, oh, well, I can't talk to you like, you're a Christian, or whatever the hang up may be, I'm not being of maximum service to the people that are around me. So it just, the open-mindedness and the willingness to be able to look past whatever faults you may have that you could, or that I may consider that form of spirituality or that form of recovery has, and find the good in it and learn something from it. It's crucial. I don't have like a whole long rant on this there, buddy.
That's great.
We can make this more conversation tonight if you want.
Yeah, I think the buffet at that freaking hotel was longer than that one.
The buffet was freaking awesome. I mean, I don't know how long I can go on about.
No, listen. No, I'm just joking. Calm down.
No, I'm just saying, like,
there you go.
I learned a lot at that buffet. I learned that you can eat multiple omelets, and sometimes that's too many before you have to go sit in a 2-hour session.
It is very too many.
Yeah, I learned that you can put espresso in the coffee pot, and the coffee's better for it. It grew. It became a better pot of coffee by including the espresso.
Yo, listen, that lady was awesome. Okay, she was awesome.
Shout out to her. That was the best service I think I've ever had from a hotel buffet.
Yeah, this buffet was off the chain. It's not one of those continental breakfast buffets. It was the real deal, real deal. Except for that. The
chicken sausage.
The chicken sausage. It wasn't the real deal. The maple blueberry sausage. Nate doesn't know about that, but
they wouldn't know nothing about that because it had activity.
It had so much activity, blueberries and stuff. Yeah. Well, Caesar, thanks for sharing. Thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up. But I appreciate you, and it was real fun, man. I had a blast going out to old Atlanta with everybody.
Well, we should tell them a little bit about that, and then we'll dive back into the other stuff. When we were out there, this was prevention coalitions and recovery community organizations from all over the country, some tiny and some huge. And we got to go to presentations on just about every aspect you could think of, as far as it goes to raising money to help your community, helping your community when you don't have any money, when you're small, working with law enforcement. All these different barriers or conceived barriers were addressed on one level or another. How to get the resources to test for xylazine and fentanyl, and just all these. It is so much information packed into 4 days. It was absolutely insane. And they have this handy dandy app so we can go back and actually look at everything again. We can go back and watch the talks again. But I mean, it was incredible to see the movement on that level. I've never seen it on that level before, where there's just thousands and thousands and thousands of people all doing the same thing that we do at this little level. So yeah, it was encouraging for me.
Very. We got Matt. What's up, Matt? I love the idea. Oh, he just blocked out Nate. Hey, come back here. I'll go down there. Here we go. There we go. Anyways, where's the voice coming from? So I love the idea of seeking spirituality from all avenues, always seeking. But I must clarify, for me, the 12-step route to recovery never worked buffet style. If I choose to work a 12-step program, I have to work all 12 steps. The exploring various avenues of spirituality comes from me in diligently working step 11. Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. I would never recommend somebody go do 6 of 12 steps, do it buffet style. I'm saying we can learn from every form of recovery that's out there. That's all.
Yep. And we can take because it's spirituality. I mean, see, you're right, Caesar. Recovery needs to stay off there. It's spirituality.
Spirituality, whatever you want, Bubba.
Yeah. Yeah, it's spirituality. You know, we can get everything. We can get a little bit from all avenues if we're open-minded to the facts, you know. Just like I get so much stuff from Nathan, but I'm not in the same fellowship as him. I get so much stuff from Caesar, but I'm not in the same fellowship. Now, if I'm closed-minded, can I get stuff from them? As soon as they start talking, I'm gonna be like, well, these fucking jokes now, right? Because so like, you know, when we think about recovery, we think about the how of the program, right? Or the how of everything. It's like the honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. We got to get honest with ourselves, man. We got to get really honest with ourselves. And then we got to open our mind up to new possibilities. Maybe, man, maybe, just maybe I might be able to get this shit, you know? But once we get it, you know, once we get this recovery, you know, and it's a process of working the steps, right? And we work all the way up, and the spirituality we get from it. That's what the main driver is spirituality. That's what we're looking for. That's the meat and potatoes, you know. It's something that's where we get our grip on this whole thing. And it's a practice, right? But if I'm closed-minded to all, you know, other avenues and other things, you know, and is that where it stops? You know, is that where it stops? I mean, I think this thing would keep going, right? I want more. I want more, you know? So like having it, you know, sector to this one, you know, one thing, I think that closes us off from new possibilities and new avenues of our higher power working on our lives. And so that's why I say like a buffet style. It makes it so we're not boxing our recovery in. It's not boxing our higher power in. It's not keeping us stuck. You know, I don't know about you. Have you ever hit a ceiling in recovery? I know I have. I've hit a bunch of those, you know, and I've had to change some things up, you know, and I had to just last year I had to change it up, you know, and if I'm not open-minded enough in order to be able to change some things up or take suggestions from outside issues, you know, and outside things, what are we doing here? You know, I'm going to start going backwards. So, yeah, I mean, we get we get our lives back. I mean, we get our you know, as I always say, we get our physical, we get our mental, and then we get our spiritual, and then that keeps going right there. And then we have to always like pick, you know, like, oh, I'll get a little bit of here. As I'm at a buffet, you know, let's just bring it back to the Omni Hotel's buffet. I'm like, ooh, biscuits and gravy. Nate took 2 of those damn biscuits and just left me. He was about to take 3 biscuits and left me 1, and then I'd be closed off to that. And I'm like, what the hell, right? And I don't get no biscuits and gravy.
And y'all
get
got
a little bit of French toast.
You took 3 between the 2 of you, and Kelly got none. And then, you know, we had to mad Kelly.
She hit a ceiling. She hit a ceiling. I don't know. You know, it's
more like rock bottom for biscuits.
It's rock bottom biscuits. And she was, but hey, the next day she was able to get biscuits and gravy because she was open-minded to the fact that they might have it. You know?
And she kept coming back.
She kept coming back, and the next day they had more. You know, so like that's what I'm saying by like this buffet style recovery, this buffet style spirituality. You know, it's just, you know, we're open-minded to but how, to what degree of being able to get it from other places and other sources. You know, as this reading said, it was like my higher power shows up in everyone and everything. Then if I'm open-minded to the facts, man, I can get it there. You know, and I can see it as is, and I don't have to, you know, like when things happen to us during and going through our day, going through our life on life's terms, and things happen, man. If I don't think my higher power is in that stuff too, man, I'm setting myself up for failure, and I'm gonna sit here and get so obsessed about this one thing that didn't happen right as I wanted it to, and I have to look at it like that. Even the problems, the blessings, the problems, all the mayhem, the mess sometimes, I got to look at it all like it's all working out in my favor, is working for me and not against me. And as soon as I actually switch my mind over to that, then I'm good, man, you know? And I feel like that's a form of having it buffet style, you know, thinking of it as that, because I used to be stuck on the mess. I used to be stuck on the problems. And I'd be like, man, did you see my life? You know? Like, that's how I'd act. You see my life? It's just a mess. I can't admit it. And I'd stay there stuck in this freaking victim mentality of why I'm not moving forward. Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Why is this nothing ever works out for me? You know? Yeah. So let's see. We got any comments? Let's see. We got Shannon in the comments. What's up, Shannon? I agree 100%. And I do think when I was new in recovery, I thought it all sounded like a cult. And I learned that was just my disease. And that's so true right there. You know, I could be closed-minded to the facts of like, these people have something I want or need, should say. I just need, because at first it's like, you don't think it's something that you want or that you need. You just know you had a drug problem and you needed to change your life, and you're tired of beating yourself up and you're tired of living in misery. But you didn't think these jabronis would have something that you wanted or needed. But as soon as, you know, we open our minds to the facts that, man, these people are here to help me. And that's when things change. And we got Trish. What's up, Trish? We got everyone has faults, even those who do. You have to accept you have faults and learn from them. For sure. We got Tanya says, I just did a harm reduction class through Cleveland, Ohio. Thrive for Change. It was a lot of information and very good knowledge on the drugs you guys are talking about. Yeah, I think I've seen that Thrive for Change somewhere. I don't know where. I don't know if it was at maybe this conference or something, but I've seen that name right there. So yeah, harm reduction, man. It's something we have to look at these days and really start embracing. You know, I think more and more we embrace the harm reduction route, the better off we're going to save people until they're ready, to be honest with you. So, what's up, Nate? What's going on? How you feeling?
Oh, I'm pretty sick. Yeah. Yeah, pretty sick, but here we are. Yeah, we show up, right? Great topic, great shares, both of you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me be a part of this. Very grateful. When you guys started talking, I immediately thought about the set aside prayer, you know, and you know, it says, it starts out with God today and you know, whoever's out there, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean a Catholic God or a Buddhist God or a Muslim God. It just means some spirit of the universe, whatever you subscribe to, whatever blows your hair back, you know, whatever that is, whatever your power is. I choose to call it God mostly because it's a common nomenclature. Everybody can relate to it. They know what I'm talking about, right? And guess what? Today I'm not ashamed of it, so I can say it and be proud. Anyway, it says, God, today help me set aside everything I think I know about you, everything I think I know about myself, everything I think I know about others, and everything I think I know about my own recovery, so I may have an open mind and new experience with all these things. Please help me see the truth. That's a mouthful, right? Like, what a prayer, you know? Because you know, Caesar touched on it. You know, I come in here with prejudices. I don't even know I have them. I don't even know what they are, to be honest with you. I just know that if I'm not familiar with something, I'm uncomfortable about it. And if it makes me uncomfortable, then I judge it. And how do I get to a place where my mind can be open, you know? And do I believe as a result of the 12 steps that I followed and I had a spiritual experience, I was able to get to a place to even start contemplating these things? Absolutely. But it's funny what happens after you're here for a while, right? Because I could start having, I know, and I experienced this probably before I did a training 2-3 years back. I realized how like how narrow-minded I was when it came to my fellowship, right? And I thought if you weren't doing it this way, then you weren't doing it the right way, and how unfair is that for me to tell who am I to tell anybody that they're doing it wrong, let alone who am I to judge if you say you're in recovery, you're in recovery, I'm not in a position to tell anybody, how to recover, how to do this thing. And, how do I get to a place where I can be comfortable, going to a NA meeting or going to, I remember, I had all these prejudices. I didn't even know I had them. Like I said, I didn't even know I had them. And Caesar was speaking at this Celebrate Recovery deal. And we went and, watched him speak. And then after he was done, they did their format of a meeting. And I was just blown away. I was like, wow, man. Okay, this makes sense. Right. And it started opening my mind a little bit to the fact that, guess what? We don't have a monopoly on this deal, man. All even the stuff that I read every day and the program that I subscribe to, it's borrowed from another program. It's a lot of borrowed concepts. And thankfully, let me not minimize or undermine the power that I found in this literature that I read and how it saved this broken and pathetic and desperate soul and gave him substance and a purpose to live, right? Because it did. But what it also did, it opened up my mind, my heart, and my spirit enough so I could start seeing that this power exists in everything and everyone, right? I am, how open am I? Because, imagine the freedom when I can learn a lesson from anywhere, any person, place, or thing on this in this entire universe. When I start getting to that level, and it's just so liberating because guess what? Then I can, like Caesar said, I can read all my I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 meditation books, and not one of them are from the same, arena of spirituality or recovery, and what's funny? On any given day, I'll read them and they will all align and say the same things. Amend your behavior, be forgiving, open up the channels. Some call it channels, some call it chakras, some call them hearts, it all says the same thing, which guess what? This is what I believe. I was having this conversation with this gentleman on Friday, and he had very strong opinions about Christianity, right? And in the course of this conversation, I can relate to him because I used to be that guy. I used to be the one that argued. I would have the argument. I'd be like, okay, so this is what you're selling me. You're selling me the idea that this monk this monk in Tibet, right, who does nothing but meditate, doesn't eat animals, he meditates, he helps people, and he's at peace and zen, reaches the highest enlightenment, nirvana, right? Just hangs out there for 30 years, right? You're telling me because he doesn't believe in this religion, he might go to hell. I'd be like, stop it. No, stop it. That ain't true. You know what I mean? And I used to argue these things. I'd be like, and then that would prove that what you believe isn't real. And that's bullshit. It doesn't matter what I think. As long as you have faith in what you believe in and it brings you peace and contentment and joy and love and it makes you a nicer human being, go for it. Right? I don't care if it's Catholic, Buddhism, Muslim, the Talmud, the Quran, the Bible. I don't care. Be a Satanist. Yeah, be a cult. Who cares? If you're not hurting people and you're striving on a daily basis to be a better human being, I don't care what you do. It's not a matter of like who I'm praying to or where I'm praying at or if I'm in a certain position or I have candles lit or I have crystals or which I like all those things, by the way. But anyway, it doesn't matter about the circumstances. It matters about the intent and the action. Am I doing this stuff on a daily basis, trying to get closer to this power, whatever the hell it is? I don't know exactly what it is. I don't have a clear-cut, concise vision of what I'm praying to, or, this thing evolves, and may it always evolve. May it always grow into something bigger and brighter and different and infinite, and as far as recovery goes, right? What I've discovered is that, guess what? Celebrate Recovery has an awesome program. BNG, this guy, shout out my boy Ito, man. When he talks, I listen, man. And I have an open enough mind to really take some great stuff away from him. And then NA, great program, saving lives, and there's this like AANA feud, and man, listen, I do not have the energy to care like where you're getting sober at. I just want you to be well, and if you're trying and you're giving a go to be a better human being, then you're winning in my book, um, but the spirituality thing, what a gift, right? What a gift for the veil to be lifted from my eyes and for me to be able to see this power, whatever I choose it to be, however I choose to embrace it, whatever relationship I choose to have with it. And I see this thing manifest right in front of my eyes. It becomes everything and everyone. And, there's something in our literature that says it has to work in and through me. What does that mean? That means I have to receive this power, right? Pray, meditation, however I got to receive it. But in order for it to really become a working part of my life, it has to go through me. It has to come out, right? I was listening to this fantastic speaker, right? And it's funny because he was talking about a spiritual banquet. He's talking about a certain fellowship, and he's saying, there's a spiritual banquet. Don't be sitting on the outside of this table taking crumbs, right? Get in, get in the middle of the table and get everything this thing has to offer us. I believe it's the same in recovery, whatever recovery you're into. And when it comes to God, like, I don't want to be on the outside looking in, wondering or arguing or thinking that somebody else is doing it wrong. I want to be in this thing, man. I want to have both feet in. No, fuck that. I want to dive in, man. Dive in head first, and really wrap my head around like the power. And I'm not there. I'm still scratching the surface, man. I just got started on this journey, and what a gift, man. What a gift to be in a position to not judge any man or woman for what they believe in, how they recover. If they do the MAT, if they do this, if the marijuana, if it works for you, awesome. If you're not putting a needle in your arm and dying, you have an opportunity to get well, right? So however that has to happen, and who am I to judge? Yeah, it's I'm just very grateful, especially, I feel like this last couple of years I've really really just been focusing on nurturing and building this spiritual relationship. Justin, what was it? What that thing I shared with you the other day? I heard this speaker said, if your spirituality, if your God was your girlfriend, would they be mad about how much time you've been spending with them? And that, I need to look at it like that, man.
Yes.
How much time am I spending with the most important relationship of my life? Because guess what? For me, for this alcoholic and this addict, if I am not prioritizing that, I don't have a relationship with Danielle. I don't have a relationship with these kids. I don't have this relationship here. I don't have a program. I don't have a business. I have nothing but self-centered fear, selfishness, misery, depression, you name it. As soon as I make that shift and start prioritizing this power and really nurturing and building and enlarging upon that relationship on a daily basis, I really don't have room to care about how the fuck you recover or what the fuck you believe in. I don't have room in my spirit for it. All I have room in my spirit is love, patience, tolerance, and understanding. Do I get it right all the time? No. That is why I maintain certain spiritual disciplines so I can stay plugged into this power as much as possible. And I surround myself with people that are just as earnest and excited and passionate about God and about recovery and about just being a good human being, right? And yeah, that's what I just love. What other movement, do you have just, and I was talking to Danielle about this the other day. I'm like, you want to go to, I don't go to church. I've been in church a handful of times my entire life. And I'm like, you want to go to church? And she's like, really? You want to go to church? I'm like, listen, man, you put a group of people in that collective power with a bunch of people just trying to be better human beings and seeking God. That's, I don't give a fuck what you're praying to or how you're saying it or what book you're reading from. That's where it's at. Sign me up. I want to be in those arenas, like this conference we were at. There's a whole bunch of people from all over the world and country just trying to figure out how to better serve their community. That's the type of people I want to be around. I just don't have room, to nitpick or, complain or judge or, shun anybody, that is trying to figure this thing out, however that looks. Now shut up now. Thank you, guys.
Dude, I got to bounce off you. You talked about the training, and my mind immediately went to, when I did that recovery coach training, I came in with my very narrow 12-step mindset, which is funny to me now looking back. I went from not knowing shit about nothing about recovery, and then all of a sudden I think I know it all, because I live in this little teeny section of what the broad scope of recovery can look like. And I'm completely closed-minded, and I go in there and they start talking about MAT and they start talking about harm reduction. And I'm like, what? That doesn't jive with what I think. And thank God I had such an amazing teacher and coach that was going through that. By the time we finished that training, I saw the value of all of it. And it was just like, it doesn't matter what your recovery looks like. If you're taking steps moving forward and bettering yourself, and I'm talking even at the harm reduction level, you still have a shot at recovery if you're alive. That's what's more important, my damn narrow view or somebody being alive to have another shot at recovery. And it really did. It broke down a lot of those barriers in my mind of what I thought I knew. And that was probably some of the biggest growth of moving into this arena, to understand the value of all these different pathways. Because how effective would I be as a recovery coach if I only had one pathway? Well, it's my way or the highway, Chief. I'm your recovery coach. Well, that's a pretty crappy recovery coach. So I understood it, you know, like it took me a little bit to work it out in my mind, and it took a good coach to walk me through it. And I came out the other side better and more effective at helping people, because it dropped. We're always talking about reducing stigma, and here I am basically just stigmatizing everything around me that's not my brand of recovery. So I'm grateful that I can be open-minded and that I can learn new things like that and be able to apply it in my life to make me more effective to help other people. And that's all we're trying to do here.
Yeah. You know what, Caesar, that the recovery coach thing, I thought I was open-minded when I rolled up in there. I'm like, I'm open-minded, man. I got to do it. And I was like, damn, I'm so close-minded. I'm like, I feel ashamed. I was like, gosh, oh God, that hurt. Stop. You know, and it's like, you know, and I don't want ever in my life make somebody feel like they're not welcome in anything. You know what I mean? Because that's the biggest part of me was I never felt a part of anything. I never felt like I belonged. Imagine going into recovery and freaking shunning people out for saying the wrong word or not going exactly how you go or operate or anything like that. Man, I just, and listen, I'm guilty of it too. When I first got in recovery, I only knew one way, and I was so stuck in that one way. And now that my mind is open to new possibilities and new avenues, like, man, it's endless. And I want to be able to be that resource, that person that be able to, like, hey, man, you might not be able to get it this way, but look, dude, there's other ways. You know what I mean? Just let's try it all. You know what I mean? Let's try it all. Let's try it all. Buffet. You want French toast? You want some maple syrup with blueberries? Let's go. Ain't no biscuits. They took them all. Let's go get some other stuff. You know what I mean? Like, there's croissants. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I want to look at this thing. You know what I mean? Or like, let's go up to this lady, man. She's making omelets. You know, we can get, look at this menu. Look at this menu right here. And that's where I want to be. And like, you know, listen, check this out. I was in church with Tiffany on Easter, and I'm sitting there, you know, and I'm getting the message, you know, and like, I'm telling you right now, I couldn't do that a little while ago, you know, but I've changed my ways. Right. And I've opened my mind, and I've been able to receive stuff differently. And I'm grateful for that. So I'm in church, and the freaking pastor says, I celebrate 20 years clean tomorrow. I was like, what? Like, blew my mind. Like, come on, like in church, this guy says I'm celebrating 20 years tomorrow. And I was like, man, I've talked to this guy before, but I didn't really understand. Like, everybody's like, oh yeah, blah, 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 you know, closed-minded again. Here I am. I went up to him after. I said, man, I respect that, you know, and I appreciate you saying that. I just celebrate 6 years. And I was like, here, man, we should talk sometime. I gave him my card. They're doing a recovery meeting tomorrow, right? It's not celebrate recovery. It's an open recovery thing, just like kind of like your church does, Caesar. And I was like, I'm going to go check it out because I'm up here, you know, like we need to do more of that. And he's like, yeah, let's get coffee. And he's like, I follow you guys. I was like, let me find out. But for real, like, what? That's where I'm at these days. Like, I want to be on the front lines. If I'm closed-minded, I can't be on the front lines. I'm going to be back here because I didn't like what somebody said about something, and I'm judging the shit out of everybody. I don't want to judge people. You know what that does to me? It's me drinking my own poison again, just like resentments, just like the fears, just like all these things that I keep doing to myself when we don't have to live like that anymore. If I can be open-minded to those possibilities, the only person I'm really judging is myself, because I don't understand. I lack understanding for these people, for anything else besides my boxed in ways. And I just, man, I'll tell you right now, I hope everybody finds that freedom. I hope I keep wanting to find that freedom, because that's true. That's true freedom right there to me. And I think it's amazing. And thank God that I had people in my life that put me on that path as well. And thank God that I'm open-minded enough to open my mind to listen to these people. And even if they're not in the same pathway as me, they are we are right here together, dude, just like on horses or something. I don't know what we're doing, but we're doing something. Horses or donkeys, probably donkeys, because I can make an ass of myself.
Dude, it's when your mindset changes too, you can hear a message just about anywhere. Like I've visited other churches, other recovery groups, and you name it. Like I've been a lot of different places, and when you're right, you know, like when you're spiritually right, you can hear a beautiful message just about everywhere that you go. Whereas before, I would go and I would purposely pick out all the reasons why we were different and why they are wrong and why they can't help me. And, you know, it's just a complete 180 going the opposite direction now. I went back to Catholic church in early recovery. And I kept telling my sponsor, I was like, I think this guy is one of us. And then the next guy comes, you know, like the following week, and it's a totally different guy. And I'm like, man, he's talking recovery stuff too. And my sponsor's like, you think maybe you're just hearing a spiritual message and you're hearing it for once, and that it's got nothing to do with recovery. Now, if you know me, you know I'm a Googler, and I will do my best to prove you wrong. It is a character defect. The first guy was in recovery. I did find that out, but the other guy wasn't at all. And it was true. I was just hearing the spiritual message. And because of what I'd learned, I was able to get something when I was never able to get anything out of those. What do they call it there? It's not a sermon. Out of the homily. I was never able to get anything out of that. Yeah, I was going to sleep, you know, like just whatever. But I can hear the message now, no matter who's giving it. I don't care who it is that's speaking. Buffet style, I can take what I need and I can leave the rest, you know, like I can leave the chicken sausage and I can get 2 omelets, and that's all right, because omelets is what I need.
And you come back the next day and they might have a whole different selection of sausage. Who knows? I don't know. Yeah. They did.
With blueberries in it. Yeah. And you know what? No contempt part of investigation. I tried it. Justin tried it. Nate didn't. They were delicious.
Hey, how about going up to the omelet thing and asking for a different kind of cheese that's not on the menu? That's what I do.
That's it. You're a deep diver.
Oh man, yeah, no. In you know what, man? That's what it's about, man. That's the meat and potatoes of it. You know, it's opening your minds and letting it all flow and not having any stipulations on what it looks like. Stipulations that I put. Let's see some comments. What we got going on up in here? All right, we got Lauren. What's up, Lauren? And I disappear again. Just getting getting to tune in to and wondering what everybody's talking about tonight, and if I could selfishly celebrate a new milestone. I am 27 months and 19 days clean. Congratulations to you. She got a new car. Congratulations on that too. That's awesome. It's used but new to me. But God is so good, and recovery is life. When you put in the work, things just improve exponentially. I'm so blessed, beyond blessed. Love you guys. Love you too. And I just want to shout out myself for saying a word correctly that was bigger than my vocabulary. Okay? Write that down. It's
not bigger than your vocabulary anymore, because you just said it and read it and did it. Does my thing not work anymore? Oh, there we go.
That's a personal problem, bro. We got Tom. It says, so every time we do it, celebrate 30 months. Do it again. Do it again. Thanks, Nate. Thanks, Nate, not Caesar. Congratulations to you. We got Russell says, I have found recovery in both rooms, men's retreats, and even part of a men's spiritual group. And I have gotten so much from all of them, plus a higher power that I was able to make for myself. And I see my higher power working in my life in so many ways. That's right, man. We got Lindsay says, I pray daily that I have the willingness to seek a relationship with my higher power, no matter what route. I just want pure motives in everything I do. We got Marcia. Good evening. Thanks for always being here. Well, thank you for being here too. And we got, what's up, Tina Marie? Love this. We love you. We got Cheyenne. left Rockland this past week. I appreciate y'all coming in every Friday. It meant a lot to all of us. Well, thank you for being here. I hope you're doing well. Yeah. And we enjoy our coming in there on Fridays. We got James. Dang, forgot it was Sunday. Hope everyone had a good week. What's up, James? And we got James one more time. That's right, Caesar. We are there to walk with and be supportive. Everyone has their own pathways. I won't co-sign bullshit, but certain things work for some, but not everyone. But certain things work for some, not everyone. That's why the village of people is important. That's right. You get a little bit from everybody. We got Rachel says stigma exists in recovery just as it does in active addiction. We stomp that stigma out. Hope slap. Oh, bam. Yeah, I like that one better. We got Lauren says, my pastor is approaching 22 years, and now we have recovery meetings as well. We use the Life Recovery Bible and have open minds. We want folks to have options. That's right. We need options, just like a buffet. You know, we got to have a buffet. Let's see. We have Lindsay says, I feel when I'm spiritually conditioned and full, most messages will be perceived as God-centered. I find it at church, inspirational messages, etc. Sandra, after the spiritual experience, I hear messages everywhere too. It's an awakening that opens us up to being able to hear the message no matter where it comes from. No judgments is such freedom. That's right. It is pure freedom, you know, in the purest form. It's freedom from ourselves, man, from the judgment, from all the negative emotions that are negative thought patterns. You know, we don't need that in our life anymore. Gotta rid it. Get out of here. Go on, get. We got Rich says, amazing meeting as always, guys. Well, thank you for being here, Rachel. We got Tiffany says, yes, I can agree on that. Before recovery, I couldn't understand or fully grasp what my pastor or what anyone was telling me. Since being in recovery now, I can now take a hold of the messages being given at church or conversations I have that are encouraging. I can finally receive love and truth from people in my life when it's given. And Aaron says that Bible is amazing, the Recovery Bible. So, yo, I'm glad I'm back, man. Sorry. Let me get that. It feels good to be back, you know, after a long week. Tiffany's not back yet, but she'll be back tomorrow. And I feel like we can get back to life. And I hope you guys got something out of this tonight. I know I did. You know, I know that I get something out of it every Sunday that we're here talking and chatting about recovery. I get a lot from Nathan and Caesar because I'm open-minded to the facts. You know, and you know, this program is about, you know, this recovery is about, you know, the honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. You know, get honest with yourself. How open-minded are you? You know, what are you willing to do to get more open-minded? You know, and that's something we all have to ask ourselves sometimes. Are we stuck? Are we hitting a ceiling? You know, what is our condition right now in our spiritual lives? What is our condition in our recovery? Are we at that plateau, you know, where we're like, man, there's got to be something, you know, it's got to be something, you know, that ceiling is real. And sometimes we feel stuck and we need a little bit of extra, you know, maybe switch it up a little bit, switch some things up, you know, maybe you need to add some things. Maybe you need to take some things away. You know, it's always anything that's positive for growth is always good for the soul, the spirit, and in your recovery. So maybe this week, man, think about something that you could change up a little bit if you feel like that, you know, or maybe stop passing judgment, you know, because it's easy to do that. But you got to do something hard and not, you know what I mean? Counteract those things. All right, y'all. Love y'all, man. I hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you next Sunday here on the Hope Shot. And until then, wait, let me see if I can do it. I got one finger gonna do it. There we go. I'll put balloons up. You know, nobody's doing balloons. Why not just do balloons? You know what I mean? See it. Wrong one.